Hello, one and all. Jasper here with, of course, DJ Fella. And, naturally, we're going to be talking about the most recent episode of House of the Dragon, episode 4, Tumbleton. And I gotta say, I thought it was, like, general kind of thoughts before we get into the nitty gritty. I thought it was okay. I think it's actually better than the previous episode because we're back to the regular formula of like bouncing from like character to character rather than focusing entirely on one specific character, which I was kind of a little bit worried we'd be doing that with every single episode.
Yeah, I definitely have some pretty big gripes with this episode.
Yeah,
I didn't I would probably say it was slightly worse than the last episode.
really? Okay. I mean, I think our gripes might be similar if I'm a betting man, but I'm guessing you just have you're like, those gripes just get under your skin a bit more than they did for me, while the previous episode issues got me a bit heated.
Yeah, maybe so.
All right. But either way, when it comes to this first episode, as far as jumping right in on it, we're in Tumbleton and we see the high towers pretty much, being set up to live in the houses of the civilians of Tumbleton.
Hmm.
And, nothing too violent, nothing too crazy, but I mean, this scene pretty much tells you exactly what's kind of going to happen later on in the episode as one of the men at arms or possibly knights looks at Hugh's wife and just goes like, "Oh, thank God it's cramped." And I'm like, "Oh, great. There's going to be some more sexual assault."
Oh, that was Hugh's wife.
Yes.
I forgot what she looked like.
She hasn't been the most prominent character.
Yeah, so I was just like, this is a random blacksmith's sister, I guess, or whatever.
Nope, she's special, so that's why they have it. Ah,
That makes a lot more sense.
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest though, as much of a fan of Game of Thrones as I am, something that I've always kind of been annoyed about with the setting is just and I think House of the Dragon is even more guilty of this, but it's something I've kind of grown to have issues with the book as well. It's just how sexually violent it is.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Back in the past, women didn't have as many rights. Things were like more violent and stuff, but I feel like the setting just portrays pretty much every single guy as some sort of rapist.
No, it does. And that's one of my biggest gripes with this episode as a whole is just it feels like at times the writers forget that like even though it's medieval times, these were still pretty much just normal people, and for the most part, things like threatening to murder somebody or or trying to rape somebody were not they weren't thought of as like no big deal. There's no point in history when people are like, "Oh, that guy was trying to rape a woman, but he's fine by me because he's a knight." Like it's just a made up, in my opinion, kind of communistic view of the Middle Ages.
I don't know much about it being communist, but it is just like, I feel like somewhat of an ignorant depiction of the medieval life in general. Yes, it was brutal in a lot of ways. Yes, life was a lot harder, but the people of our past, while having probably very different morals that we would find horrendous, were not that bad. I think there is a difference between like, arranging marriages and whatnot and then just straight up, forcing yourself on a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, and the difference is that arranging marriages is based and forcing yourself on women is not.
But yeah, um, and I think I'd be more okay with it. My issue in the show is that pretty much what, like, I think most of the male characters have been shown to be like some sort of sexual assaulting deviant.
Yeah, let's see who in the show has not uh
I mean,
so far.
as far as so far, like, there's and most of them I think are kind of dead, but Harwin Strong and his father. I'm drawing a blank. I might be getting their names mixed up, but the guys who died in the fire in the first season.
Yeah, if you die quick enough, they don't have a chance to slander your character by making you try to rape a woman.
Yeah, Leonor, but he was gay. Do we count a gay guy?
He was still a sexual deviant, so
Corlys? I don't think Corlys has sexually assaulted anyone.
yeah, that's fair. Corlys has been an upsetting guy because he's black, so he gets to be.
Well, yeah. Well, he's black and he's on Team Black. That helps a lot because,
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is only white people are rapists and murderers.
well, not just that, but also you have to be on Team Green pretty much. Because let's look at the guys who are on Team Green. You have Aegon, who's a rapist. You have Aemond, who kissed his own mother. You have Larys, who jerked himself while Alicent showed him his feet because apparently crippled guys with crippled legs and feet love feet. Jasper, Wild, like his last two, the second to last scene, we get
Completely
him.
normal character, and then just suddenly he got bit by a rape bug and had to jump on the queen.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. I think the show relies too much on sexual assault, and it's just making the world feel cartoonishly evil. And the books had it, but I feel like maybe because of the size of the books, it just was different, and it was more often like, a character would like boast about it rather than us like constantly seeing it being depicted.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'm getting, for like, it's kind of weird to say, but I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored of all the sexual assault.
Well, yeah, yeah, for me, it's less even boredom and more just like can we move on past this kind of one note depiction of the Middle Ages that just isn't accurate?
Hmm. Yeah, but with that, the next scene we have Ormond Hightower taking a bath with Lord and Lady Footley, pretty much complaining about him occupying the space. And honestly, I'm surprised that they're both alive, especially Lady Footley after this scene.
Yeah, especially since we established in this episode that this character does not seem to have a problem with killing people over minor offenses.
Yeah, I mean, these
I
two,
guess I guess they're lords, so
yeah, Lord and Lady, but I mean, they declared for, in his eyes, the usurper Rhaenyra. Like, I mean, heads should be rolling to a certain extent.
yeah. But I guess, from his point of view, he's done like a hostile takeover, and then killing the Lord and Lady might not sit well with the people, which he already kind of wants them to be more submissive. Whereas, like, as long as they're still alive and imprisoned, it kind of seems more like to the people, it might seem more like they're just staying there temporarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we got a little
Oh,
scene back and forth with them. And so I think one of the reasons I kind of enjoyed this episode is that we are getting more from characters that I feel like we should have a better understanding of than we do right now. I mean, Ormond, I'm trying to recall. Yeah, Ormond, I don't think had a single scene in the second season. Or am I? Or if he did, I don't remember anything particularly special.
yeah, definitely nothing notable. He might have just like said something a few times at small councils.
So yeah, no. He appeared in. I think season 3 of. I think the last episode was the first time we see him. No, it can't be. Can it?
It sounds implausible to me, but I wouldn't know for sure.
I don't know. The wiki says season 3 was the first episode, like season 3, episode 3. So
Was the first episode he appeared in
yeah.
since
So
what?
last episode was like the first episode, which just doesn't sound right.
Right? Like we've
No, it had to have been the second episode because I remember that's like Aemon declared himself king. He got the letter. Okay, so the wiki's wrong. It had to have been uh
yeah, and I feel like he's shown up in just like random episodes
yeah.
throughout the series.
All right, so never trust the wiki, guys. Always do your own research. Um, But anyways, it's nice that we're getting more development from this guy who is being like really set up to be kind of be the new, not primary antagonist, because I still feel like Aemond is kind of solidified his place there, but like
Hmm.
a strong secondary,
Yeah,
especially with Otto Hightower being dead.
right.
Mm-hmm. And
And we also in this scene have it confirmed that the kid with the dyed hair is in fact what is his name? Damon?
Darren.
Darren.
Yeah. And I hope, I pray, because I don't think it's mentioned in this episode at all, but I really hope they dyed his hair to look like that. Because if they didn't, it just makes no fucking sense to dye the fake kid's hair. Or bleach it, I should
Yeah,
say.
I have to assume that he's been dyeing his hair.
Yeah. Maybe.
Like that makes the most sense to me. If not, then that would just be a silly thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but overall, I think, despite my issues of Darren not looking really anything like Darren should, I enjoyed I enjoy kind of the stuff we see from Otto Ormond in this particular scene, and I've actually heard a lot more kind of disagreements in regards to Ormond's portrayal, but maybe we can get more into that in later scenes because there's two in particular. The first one I've seen quite complained about by fans of the books and whatnot. The final one I definitely take a lot of issues with, though.
Yeah, I've got some pretty big problems with one of their scenes coming up.
Yeah.
So,
But with that, we're sent over to King's Landing as Rhaenyra questions Ormond, like why would he take the market city or market town, whatever it is, and is she stupid? Like, first off, you can't just ignore a fortress. Like, I mean, granted, it's not a fortress, but just circumventing it does Ormond no good because presumably House Footley has some sort of army. Like maybe not a massive army, maybe not thousands of guys, but like maybe enough to where he could raid and disrupt his Ormond's like uh, supply line. So you can't just ignore it. And second off, King's Landing has a food problem. So taking out a market area that presumably would help supply food to the needed people of King's Landing is a smart move. So it's like Rhaenyra, this is like basics in like warfare.
yeah, but she's a woman, so she wouldn't know anything about that.
Ah, Jesus. Ah. But anyways, this scene, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot happens. We see Rhaenyra make the previously green maester proper black maester, which you knew was happening. I mean, just look at him.
Right, right.
We can't have any of the minorities be loyal green members.
Yeah, yeah. Why would they be? It wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It'd be a contradiction to the name.
Yeah. And Missaria opens her dumb mouth. Oh, what if we name a master of coin? And then he can be the one who takes all the blame for the economic issues of King's Landing. And that's so dumb. Like, for example, if I were to ask you, DJ, who is like the treasurer of the United States? Do you think you could give me the name of that person?
Uh, I think that changed recently. Whoever's in charge of the Fed, which is different than the treasurer, but the person in charge of the Fed, I think, has a lot more influence than whoever's in charge, like Secretary of the Treasury.
Hmm. Well, in that
Uh,
case, do you know who the Fed guy is then, or Fed woman?
I don't know his name, and yeah, he got sworn in on this year. Oh shit, he got sworn in, yeah, super recently. So there's nothing that he's done yet for anyone to be upset about, but
But like, if the economy was
I'll
to hit the
I'll
shitter,
often be mad at most people. I'll agree. Most people just go, the economy suck, like gas prices are up. That's Trump's fault.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of aspects of the economy that I go, that's the Fed's fault. Fuck the Fed. Abolish the Fed.
Well, you're
But that's
definitely
a different conversation.
yeah. I mean, you're let's try not to get too political, all right? Stick to Westeros politics. But my point being is, most people aren't going to look at who is more responsible. They're going to look for the person at the top and blame them. That's like historically how it's always gone. The economy is either, Trump or Biden or Obama or Bush or who's ever at the top. I've never heard someone say, like, god damn it, it's the goddamn Treasury's fault, or, it's the vice president's fault, or like whoever's like has more influence on the economy. They like never blame those people.
Yeah, and especially in like medieval times, there's most people aren't even going to have an understanding of the council to like cast blame onto them.
Yeah, so it's just ridiculous
Although
for
actually there is some precedent. I believe in Tsarist Russia, there was a peasant rebellion that happened where the idea was that basically the peasants believed that the Tsar was appointed by God and that he could not be doing the things that were making their lives so tough. So they were like, we have to just bring attention to the Tsar, how poorly the aristocrats are treating us. Um, but that's one example of that happening comes to mind in all of history, and I definitely think Tsarist Russia is not the best comparison for the way Game of Thrones is conducted. It's more medieval England and France.
yeah, Europe in general. But aside from that kind of ridiculous idea, you know, there's not a whole lot to this scene. Just makes Rhaenyra Mysaria look stupid, which is in character to be fair, but I mean, I'd like a little bit more of actual competence, which I feel like they're trying to make them sound competent, and that's the issue. It's like,
Hmm.
I'm not supposed to think this is stupid, but it is.
Well, to be fair, appointing a treasurer is probably a good idea, regardless.
I mean, yeah, having someone like in charge of that's a good idea, but like the justification of like have him be the fall guy, just fuck off.
Yeah, that is dumb. But on the bright side, from the way they've portrayed him so far, I think that the way the show's going is they like may be accidentally appointing someone competent. Like that's kind of the way it seems to me.
I mean, we'll see how Torrin Manderly does in the position. With that, our next scene is actually Rhaenyra speaking to Alicent and asking what she can learn about Ormond Hightower, which, doesn't know a whole lot about him, which, not too surprising. I mean, they're cousins, and, I wouldn't consider myself super close with my cousins. I love my cousins, but, like, I only recently saw my cousins at one of their weddings, and before then, it had been years and years and years since I spent any time with them.
Well, but I still think Allison's answer of like, I know the same amount as you do is pretty retarded. Because A, she didn't know the same amount as Rhaenyra. She proves later in the scene she knows a lot more. And B, if some fucking random person walks up to you and is like, "What can you tell me about your cousin?" You would never be like, "You probably know the same amount as I do." You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know this and that."
I mean, this is just staying consistent with portraying Alicent as the most bumbling, incompetent person in the franchise's history. Nobody comes close to her incompetence. She's just utterly fucking useless.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's like some
And then
attention.
she says such personal things about him. He sees himself as a scholar. He studies histories. He collects tapestry, writes ballads, and despises the ignorant. Like that's such a specific characterization of a person. I couldn't characterize any of my cousins that precisely.
right? Got to be a bit more broad with our statements. Yeah, I mean, I think one of them's a doctor.
Yeah, yeah, like I could talk about what their careers are and stuff, but I couldn't tell you like what they think of like random groups of people. I couldn't say they despise the ignorant. That's like a thing you learn about somebody if you've, you know,
Spent some
known
time
them
with
a
them.
long time.
Uh, Moving on a little bit, though, we do get a little bit of a scene where she talks about her son, Darren. And she does say one accurate thing, that her best motherly action was sending her child away as a baby so that way she could not fuck them up.
Yeah.
And as bad as Ormond might be a little bit later in this episode, objectively, he's a far better parent than Alicent is.
Well, you know, uh, children raised by single fathers have far better outcomes than
Uh,
children raised by single mothers.
you're
So,
you're just trying to poke
just
the bear today. What the fuck, man?
yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm on one. I guess I'm on one, but this episode just brings it out of me because it's got so much dumb shit like that.
uh, but the before Rhaenyra leaves, Allison does make one final thing: is that he has a strong disdain of odors, and so I feel
Which is
like,
another very specific thing to know about somebody.
to be fair, I think we both could have mentioned that like one little introduction to him when he literally has a perfume bottle around his neck to like just take a whiff whenever something bugs him.
Yeah,
Like that's not a
but this
subtle thing.
but this is now I feel like it's trying to establish that that's going to be like some weakness of his that
Oh, most
they utilize, and I don't know.
God, I
I think I think there's no way to handle that and it not just come off as dumb as hell.
it's going to be so ridiculous, but I'm very much anticipating it. Uh,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do with that.
but now we're over with Corlys and Alan, and Corlys seems to have decided to write off and deal with the remnants of the Triarchy that appear to be raiding the shores. Which, man, I'm honestly surprised they're making the Triarchy much more of a presence than they were ever in the books. Because after the Gullet, they just like, fuck off. We don't hear from them. They have their own little civil war not long after that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean it doesn't make that much sense that there'd still be I mean maybe so. I don't know.
Well, like I said, once the rest of the Dragon Seed showed up, there shouldn't be like really anyone who's eager to start raiding Westeros.
Right. Yeah, you'd think if you see two or three dragons flying around torching your fleet, you might be like, ah, maybe this isn't the best place to raid.
Yeah, like I mean, good God. Like I guess I could believe like that one ship or group that decided to get there and save Aegon by accident. But like consistent raiding to this extent, like at this point, like have one of the dragon riders just patrol that area and just take them out.
Well, I could see not wanting to do that because Vagon is still kind of in the area. Um, so you may not want to have like a single rider out where they might be get caught by surprise,
I mean,
right?
okay, then one could also argue send two because she doesn't have a shortage of dragon riders.
Well, she doesn't have unlimited either, so because she has Damon going up to the Erie to get gold from them, and then she's got to send initially one, but now two dragons back to that town to keep a threat, I guess, established there. And then if you want to then have another two patrolling the coast for pirates, was that leave her
That would
to
be
defend King's Landing?
Adam and herself would be the last two.
Adam?
Yeah.
But I was assuming Adam would be probably the one of the ones patrolling the coast.
Well, I don't think he is because we see him knighted. in King's Landing.
Well, nobody's patrolling the coast
Hmm.
in the TV show, but I'm saying if she did have someone patrolling the coast, it would probably Adam. And is there even a second dragon to send to do that? I guess if you're having Hugh or
Bela?
Ulf take shifts. Oh, Bela. All right, and so then just Rhaenyra is remaining in King's Landing with a
Yeah,
dragon,
yeah.
and I guess technically, Alicent's daughter.
I don't think she can really use Helena.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I've seen dumber things in this show.
Ah. But anyways, we're getting off topic now. But anyways, Corlys decides to let off some steam by going to a couple of battles. I mean, not bad for a guy who's like, the actor I think is in his 60s. The character should be in his 70s. Like, damn, they don't make him like they used to apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. But yeah, that is what the raiding party seemed like to me. Is just an excuse to get Corlys out of here so Adam can become, or
Alan.
not Adam, Alan can become a member of the council.
Yep. So he just make this guy the hand of the king, which or hand of the queen, I guess technically. Which I mean, I guess it's somewhat reasonable. Game of Thrones has historically had, well, I don't know if it's historically now had like bastards serving as hands, but I know like in the future it does. And I mean, hands have like assigned replacements themselves. Like Tywin Lannister in the original was summoned to King's Landing to serve as hand, but he instead just sent Tyrion to be the hand.
Yeah, yeah, that does ring a bell.
But yeah, not a whole lot to say about this scene, but we're now over with Aegon. And
Yeah, I assume this is your favorite scene in the episode.
I like it. Like like I've said before, I'm going to be a lot more forgiving on these scenes because pretty much everything that Aegon's doing to a certain point in this season, we have no idea about. So they have a lot of freedom just to do almost whatever the hell they want, so long as it's keeping it consistent with the character.
Well, were you not as much on my side as I remembered about this dragon being dead?
Oh, no, it's alive. Aegon said it's alive.
I know, which is retarded.
I mean, it might be in like this deep hibernation. That's why Bela assumed like, oh man, definitely dead.
Well, then maybe go fucking double tap it. I don't know.
Like shoot enough flames at it, cut its head off for God's sakes.
Yeah, do we not understand enough about dragons to know that they can do a deep hibernation heal thing?
Uh, I guess not. I guess just a flyby look and be like, oh yeah, definitely dead.
All right, I guess so. I guess the people whose entire personality is having dragons know nothing about them. I'll just accept that as a fact of this world.
I mean, I will say in Game of Thrones, the books, or I should say Fire and Blood, and actually I should have made this comment when I was editing my video about differences, but Aegon's dragon Sunfire, and this is why I was reasonably confident that it wasn't dead. It was never really assumed dead, if I'm remembering correctly. It was very injured, and men came down from the keep to try and slay the beast, and failed, despite it being wounded. And a larger force came back later, and the dragon was gone. So it was never really assumed to be dead, but it did kind of like just disappear for a bit.
Right, which that makes perfect sense. Leaving a dragon just lying in the forest for I don't it's been a while now. It's been a long time since that battle.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of judge with the show, but it's easily been a couple of days at
No,
bare.
it has to have been months, right? I mean, Damon's recovered for the most part.
I mean, I don't know about months, but like I was saying, a couple of days, like bare minimum. I would
I mean,
assume.
it's been long enough that his like melted skin has healed.
I mean, he still looks a little fucked up, but with that, so yeah, probably been a good long time. I will say though, in the books, again, it's kind of hard because we're not really sure how long Sunfire was just resting there injured before somebody came and like got him the hell out. But it does seem kind of weird in the books that they know the dragon is alive and Rhaenyra doesn't like send anyone to just do like a drive by. At least with the assumption that it's dead, it's a bit more believable that it be kind of left to its own devices.
Yeah, I mean,
Because if it was obviously still alive, then I would have to question why Rhaenyra doesn't send pretty much any of her dragon riders to just finish it off.
yeah, which I just questioned the whole premise of the dragon just laying there unmoving for a month and uh nobody thinks to double check that it's dead. Nobody even considers that possibility. They just, I guess, nobody knows dragons can do this. It's the first time a dragon's ever done this. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely some issues here, but I think I'm a bit more forgiving because there's kind of an issue with the original source. I don't know if this is preferable. It kind of comes like a side grade, you know. They tried to plug the hole, but the cork they used was still a bit too small.
Yeah.
But now, but with the topic of the scene though, it is like just kind of nice to see Aegon like showing his emotion and his sadness for the dragon and like how happy and desperate he is when he feels like it's still alive. I don't know. It felt like kind of a sweet little scene. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to like see a bit of like reasonable sympathy for these characters. Like I believe it, you know. It doesn't feel like fake or forced.
Well, up until there's some random guy being like threatening them and contemplating stealing all their money.
Well, you didn't like that part?
I mean, it's fine. It's certainly plausible, but again, it's just another example of just how needlessly violent at every single turn every single person in this show is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to be fair, they're at Rook's Rest, which was like the site of a big battle. So
Hmm.
I would assume, given that situation, a bit more cutthroaty types being present isn't out of the ordinary. Though I would say it seems kind of odd that there isn't like some sort of castle protection or along those lines, kind of keeping watch. But it seems like whatever garrison Kristen left behind was pretty much a shit show.
Yeah, seems so.
Speaking of, we actually get to see Kristen and Gawain arriving at Harrenhal, where they meet up with what's her bucket, box chin bitch.
You say box chin?
Dude, look at that chin. That is the most square, masculine chin. And I say this jealous. I'm not insulting her looks, but like I'm jealous of that chin.
She does have a good chin. She does have a good jawline.
Like it's impressive.
It's not. It's not like absurd though.
I mean, I don't
I've
know.
seen.
I feel
I've
like
seen some ladies with some square ass chins, dude.
I don't know because I remember watching Batman the animated series where everyone had like a square ass chin and she fits right in with those character designs.
She does kind of look like a male Batman character, a male comic book character.
But anyways, Alice Rivers, that's her name. Despite her beautiful chin, she informs Gawain and Kristen that apparently Aemond, after securing the castle, just fucks off.
Yeah, do you think she's telling the truth? I mean, I guess she'd have to because Vagar's not there, huh?
Yeah, Vaegar's gone. So presumably she patched Aemon up and he mounted Vagar and flew off. To do what? I mean, I have a small idea, though, my book knowledge is not translating as well to the show as I would like.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got no clue why he would leave,
Yeah.
rather than try to, uh, regroup, I guess, here with Cole, and then try to formulate a plan for proceeding from there.
Yeah, because in the books, Aemon's here, and Aemon and Kristen discuss like battle plans and whatnot, and they disagree, and then Aemon fucks off.
Yeah, that would be better to handle it.
You see, so many things would be better. Now, what's interesting about this, and hold your breath because I'm actually going to kind of praise a change. But in this scene, we have Gawain and Kristen begin to kind of discuss what their plan is, formulating, what to do now. And Gawain says, let's march over to my cousin, Ormond Hightower, and join our forces to his. Kristen doesn't think that's a real great idea and comes to the conclusion that some guerrilla warfare might be the best action taken, which I kind of agree. His army isn't particularly vast, and it's not like adding their host power to Ormond's is going to make it any more formidable. So it makes sense to go more for a sneaky fighting style in this war.
Yeah, and especially since they're basically fighting against the United States Air Force equivalent in this world, uh, having your armies like line up to charge into battle head on just isn't going to be a realistic strategy for them. Like guerrilla warfare probably is their only way to continue picking away without the dragons being able to do too much damage to them.
Yes, and that's actually something that I'm critical with the books about is that it again, like you have just these massive armies clashing to each other, but with the dragons existing, that's like a death sentence unless both sides have a dragon. But in that instance, it's just the armies aren't really playing a factor. It's whichever dragon wins pretty much decides the war or the battle. So I think that the Greens should have from the very beginning have been using more guerrilla tactics that Cole is implementing now. Because in the books, Kristen's the one who just decides, like, okay, we're going to march over and join up with Ormond Hightower. So I actually really do enjoy this change, especially because apparently they're facing the Riverlands, whose army is 20 times larger than theirs. Which, no, it's not.
No, yeah, that seemed implausible to me as well.
But
But yeah, actually, now that I think about it, everyone always talks about uh, the inspirations coming from like the War of the Roses and the original series and that kind of thing. But really, Game of Thrones, at least in the time of the Targaryens, it's a lot more like Operation Desert Storm than it is like anything medieval.
there's probably a bit more similarities because of that, yeah. At least while the dragons are kicking around. It seems a bit more grounded once they're all dead after this war.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, spoilers.
Oh, come the fuck on. We know that all the dragons die.
I never watched the original TV show.
I mean, fuck, the original show tells you how this ends. There's like one or two scenes where like a character talks about the demise of characters.
No, these two shows have nothing to do with each other. I don't even think they're set in the same world.
Maybe you got a point there. But yeah, but I will say there Kristen's kind of like speech to Gawain, like it feels a little off. Like I don't quite get it. Like the motivation for him like spreading out his life story like that about how he comes from like not a whole lot.
I don't even remember him talking about that.
Like he's like, "Oh, my father was like a steward or some shit to a lord, and so long as he was in the lord's favor, we were happy, but eventually he lost that favor and his dad died of sorrow. Little bitch ass loser pulled a Padme on us. Died of a broken heart."
He died of a broken heart.
It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, how does that connect to him then saying our task is simple, we must uh do guerrilla warfare?
Yeah, like just have Cole come off as like a competent military leader. Have him say that adding our strength to Ormond's doesn't change our standing at all. So we must fight in a way that minimizes Rhaenyra's ability with her dragons. And that's guerrilla warfare. Like, just show him being somewhat competent. Make him, like, somewhat deserving of the position and power that he holds.
Yeah,
Uh,
but no,
uh,
not today.
okay, yeah. I'm definitely realizing as we continue to talk about this episode, it is not as good as I somewhat recalled. I think I need to
I'm
try and reel up my expectations again.
I'm glad that I could come and bring you down.
uh, we get the next scene though, which is with Rhaenyra and Alan chit chatting a little
Hmm.
bit about their dads and whatnot, and it's okay. I mean, I don't really remember a whole lot of it, and even now, as we're kind of like going through it, it just seems like one of those kind of like nice little character actions between two people that we really don't see often, and you wouldn't really. It's not something you. It's like a nice treat, you know. I didn't know I wanted this until it was presented to me.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it being just kind of nice.
Yeah, just
Um,
both of them talking
nothing,
about their fathers.
yeah, nothing particularly memorable about it though.
I will say though, I thought Aegon smashed that shit up when his father died, or not his father, his son.
He smashed a chunk of it up, I think. I
Yeah.
don't think he smashed like the whole thing.
Uh, but yeah, nice little scene. We're back over with Aegon and Larry's though, as they're getting into Root, Root's Rest. What's the fucking name of that castle? Anyways, they're at the castle now, and it's a pretty big shit show as usual.
Yep, big old shit show. We got some Monty Python characters scrounging around in the mud
You know,
and
and
ask them their political opinions.
yep, and pretty much, you say the whole Monty Python thing, but that is like another thing of just peasants being depicted as like dirty, never bathing, never washing, all that stuff. Again, in this particular scenario, I think we can be a bit more lenient because it is the aftermath of a battle. But I mean, it's not that hard to just wash yourself off, man. You guys aren't even that far from the ocean.
Yeah, I noticed something as they're walking into the castle. Both of the dragons had like particles flying around them. In this case, I would assume it's flies, but whenever they were over with Sunfire or whatever its name is, the particles didn't look like flies to me. Like it looked like little ash specks or something.
If I remember some book knowledge, I think dragon blood is very, very hot. So maybe that's some of it. Maybe the dragon blood is so hot that it's kind of like, crackling almost like a fire, and maybe that's what they're trying. But I don't know. I do think the first assumption is correct that it's flies just going in on the carcass of the dragon. And even Sunfire is alive, but like, the flies don't care if you're not moving.
Yeah, maybe so.
Mhm. Though I wonder, like, how tough do you think like dragon hide is? Like, could a fly, or in this case maggots, I guess, like really like take a chunk out of them? Like, I
I mean,
guess inside open wound probably easier than the scale. So
right or yeah, go for the eyes or something.
the soft fleshy bits.
Yeah, and there's definitely less of it over at Sunfire, so they are probably just supposed to be flies.
Yeah, Aegon is still like really prideful though. Like, you think he would like kind of learn his lesson after the first time his pride like almost got him and Larry's killed.
Nope. No, sir.
But I'm guessing like this is where they're really going to hammer in about him, like, swallowing his pride in order to keep going on.
I guess.
But once he gets on Sunfire and again starts riding off into battle, that pride's going to come right back. I tell you.
Yeah, I don't expect. I mean, maybe. Maybe he'll be a changed man after this. That'd be cool.
But anyways, he's got to go take care of the latrines. And then, after all that shit flinging, we're back over at Tumbleton. And here we go. We kind of hinted at this in the very first scene, but here comes a little bit of the attempted rape.
Yeah, which, I gotta say, why why do they go after this chick instead of the wife?
We know. We both fucking know.
Well, because Hugh, I guess, is a character we're supposed to hear about.
Well, also, like, no offense to this actress, but Hugh's wife I find quite a bit more attractive.
I don't.
Really?
I mean, neither of them are like smoke shows, but
I mean, like I said, I like the actress for the wife to the brother. Like, I mean, she looks fine, but I don't know. I definitely find Hugh's wife just a bit more appealing.
hmm. Either way, yeah, he tries to do a little raping
Which,
and then
which also,
breaks the arm.
while we're at it, like, I don't know a lot of rapists, but presumably they try to do most of their raping when no one's around.
Right.
Like,
Not in West.
I know he's got his buddies who are apparently like, oh, they just so happen to be just fine with him being a rapist, so they're going to hold back the brother so he can do what he wants. But like, still, like, it just seems like dumb. It's just so forced. And again, it drags those other guys into it because they're just standing by, holding back the guy while he's sexually assaulting Hugh's wife. And it's just like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just, hey, I'm just losing my patience for all of this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's just like they forget that medieval people were still people.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the most part, they still found the same things reprehensible that we did, with some notable exceptions. And I mean, the main difference was crime was easy to get away with, so anybody inclined to do so would be more likely to, I guess, go through with it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little tired of every single guy being some crazy rapist or psycho murderer or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, but we cut away from that scene, so we're not even really sure how it ends. But because it sounds
Yeah, which is weird because it didn't seem like anything was going to stop him. So
yeah, and like it was three guys, and they broke the arm of the wife, and you know he pretty much couldn't
two
do
of them were
anything.
holding back the husband. Yeah.
Yeah, so but it doesn't seem like he went all the way with it, but because I think they say attempted or something later. But anyways, we'll get back to that scene later, or not. But we're now over with Rhaenyra, and she's actually approached by Hugh, who asks to be sent to Tumbleton. Now, I'm kind of curious. Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea to send Hugh to Tumbleton?
Probably a horrible idea.
I agree, because I think, I mean, the inevitable issue, and you can kind of weigh like the likelihood of this, but with his wife in Tumbleton, she's technically a hostage, and if it's somewhat discovered, which I think is probably going to happen, that she's a dragon rider's wife, that's just a prime hostage to just make you do whatever the hell you want.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it poses the risk that Hugh, say, sees how some of the people in town are being treated, and then is like, I gotta get in there and save my wife,
Mm,
which could be horrible.
yeah. So, I mean, I get it. It's kind of hard to like say no to a man you can't go and like be over to protect and try and save your wife. But in this case, like, Ulf exactly isn't a great choice either. Like, I would
Yeah,
I'd highly recommend Adam. Adam seems to
same.
have his head on his shoulders right. Send Ulf off to deal with the fucking, Tyroshi
Pirates?
pirates.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually kind of what I was thinking is if she was thinking on her toes, then what she could do is say, "Okay, I can't send you because you're too emotionally and personally involved in this, but instead of saying Ulf, I'll send Adam."
Or yeah, or send Ulf and Adam.
Yeah, or yeah. Well, I don't know.
I mean, again, I wouldn't trust Ulf for like I think you
No.
can really only trust Ulf to do something that's a bit more action oriented rather than like something that's like watching and getting bored.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm. But speaking of Ulf, we see him walking around, presumably at the streets of King's Landing, possibly Flea Bottom, and we see a little bit of graffiti, just some accurate portrayals and statements.
Yeah, I had never really considered the concept of medieval graffiti. These motherfuckers got white, blue, red, and green paint.
I mean,
That's
so
gotta be expensive.
I mean, yeah, I mean, at least it's not purple. Purple was very,
Right.
very expensive.
It's true.
That actually makes me think. What was the cheapest?
But if they have blue and red, can they not make purple?
I'm trying. Well, there was something like in regards to like dyeing
Well, red
clothes.
red was the cheapest. That's why everyone's flags were like in banners were red back in the day.
Mhm. Uh,
But
so
I don't know what kind of like medium they used for paint back then, but it seems to me like you could just mix red and blue and that makes purple.
I mean, I feel like if it was that easy, they could have done it. But like, there's a reason why they didn't. There's a reason why there's like almost no banners with any fucking purple on it. And God, this was like a long time ago, but like the way to get like purple dye was like from a snail or some shit.
Yeah, there's like a bug or something you had to grind up. Um, maybe they just never thought about it. Maybe they never considered that you could mix colors.
Oh, come on. Surely, like again, the medieval people were not that stupid. I'm
Yeah,
sure
I know.
they
I'm
understood mixing
joking.
colors. Uh, but anyways, Ulf then heads over to his tavern and just has some fun with the lads, who immediately, like any proper, tavern guy, says like, "Hey, he's buying us drinks because he's rich now."
Yeah,
Poor Ulf, though. Presumably, he's gotten some coin now.
yeah. I mean, he has a purse to hand over, so he's not completely broke.
uh,
And for as hungry as they were making it sound like the people of King's Landing are, these people all seem pretty well fed,
I mean, maybe not well fed, but at least well.
hydrated,
Yeah, that. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
I guess.
Because he does buy drinks. He doesn't buy any food. But back over at Tumbleton, Ormond Hightower is asked to weigh in on the crime that took place. And hey, obviously they shoot themselves in the foot later, but I liked this scene because I was 100% ready for Ormond to just be like, yeah, no, nothing, don't do anything to him. He's my man. He can do what he wants to you.
Yeah,
But
and I mean, even in this scene, uh, I don't know. The he said she said aspect of it is frustrating. But I get that that's just how things would be. I wish that I wish that we got some more insight into his like reasoning behind choosing to punish the guard or the soldier or whatever.
I mean, I'd have to like double check on exactly how he described the whole situation, but I mean, I feel like just looking at everything, and granted, we saw what happened, but like, it's hard for me to fathom like a situation of this violence breaking out without him obviously being the one who initiated.
Instigated?
Yeah,
Maybe so.
because like
Maybe it's the safe assumption.
that was Berlin. Hold on, he's using words I don't understand.
Hmm?
Hold on,
Where?
I was billeted. Billeted.
I was gelded.
No, billeted.
Galetted.
B.
Buh?
Beletted.
Bletted?
Yeah. Is the past tense, which means to assign lodging. Oh, okay. So he said he was assigned to be in the house, which is correct, but the smith
Oh,
didn't.
billeted.
Yeah, so he just said that the smith apparently this shit happened because the smith didn't like him being in the house. So yeah, weak
Yeah.
ass excuse. He's pretty much saying like, oh, they attacked me for no reason.
Well, he's not saying for no reason. He was saying like he had liked that I was fucking living in his house, which is fair. Some people might not like that.
Yeah, no. I think even like, regardless of like the other guys behind him, like speaking in his defense or whatnot, like, no, no, I'm not buying it. Not for a goddamn second.
Yeah, and then I do appreciate the little explanation we get of like in this sort of situation we need to be sure to maintain like strict order. Like we can't have our soldiers going around pissing off the people of the town.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the soldier was in the right somehow, it might be the safer political move to just punish him.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, nice punishment as well, gelding the bastard and breaking his arm.
Yeah,
But this scene is kind of, taken down later, sadly.
right.
But yeah, this was a nice little scene for Ormond while it lasted. And
It
then
was.
and then we have Rhaenyra and Orwell doing a little talking, and Orwell, straight bloodthirsty motherfucker, saying like, "Hey, you want to kill the High Septon?"
Yeah. Yeah, that was which again, it's just like people everybody wasn't always 100% of the time trying to kill as many people as possible. I'm getting a little tired of it, Game of Thrones, of everybody just being like, what if we just kill people about it?
Mm-hmm. Just yeah, cut
And
the
and
throat.
all of it, like, I don't know why there's so much of it in this episode. I feel like they're like all the individual scenes I could see a justification for. I could see them being like, yeah, but in this case is different. Or like this is just a unique case. But when it's every single scene, it's like, why is every single person just being a crazy violent lunatic?
There are other
Has
ways.
Game of Thrones always been like this and I just forgot until I watched this episode?
I think so, though I admit I'm trying to kind of remember from the books because I definitely know in the history, and I think there's a little bit of like the whole like kind of murdering at like we have to remember this is entertainment. Like I mean the show sucks, but it is trying to entertain us, and so these like bigger kind of grander things are more entertaining than, for example, probably more accurate and traditional ways of influencing others and political maneuvering than we would see historically. I mean, for Christ's sake, I mean, Westeros like has a full out war like every like 2 decades or so. Like shit is violent. If our history was anything like this, humanity would not survive.
I don't know. Medieval England had quite a few wars. Like they would have breaks every now and then, but they would have.
I
They
don't.
did do a lot of warring back then.
Was it like every 2 decades though? Like, did your average person participate in 3 wars?
Well, they did have the 100-Year War.
Yeah, that was one war though. Totally, definitely not like three separate wars or four.
Yeah,
But that was like one little spike in like if we're looking at 1,000 years, just because you have that little spike near the end of it.
it was like, well, that wasn't. It was a spike for sure, but they weren't like peaceful, and then they decided to do some warring for 100 years, and then they became peaceful again afterward.
I mean, yeah, there were like some little dances with the Vikings and whatnot, and obviously the French and English are always going to hate each other. Uh,
Especially when the French become the English.
but yeah, but I mean, aside from apparently the plans to like possibly assassinate the Septon, which Rhaenyra does say nah, we can't do that. So there's that. But not a whole lot to really say about that particular scene. There is some
Mhm.
more mention about the High Tower control over the Faith because, the Faith's stronghold is kind of at Old Town where the High Towers lay, which Orwell seems to shoot down. And that's kind of interesting because, like, there's definitely, like, a lot of book people who believe, like, the High Towers, like, really got the Faith by the balls, as well as, like, are much more powerful and influential because it's not just, like, the Faith, but also the Maesters are also all educated in the same location. So like the High Towers, it's a miracle like the High Towers aren't like in charge of the Reach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Though, I'm trying to think about like like I guess not really monarchies but nobilities influence on the church and the faiths in our own historical time, and I think it would like go back and forth. Obviously, like there were times when the Pope was pretty much like underfoot by monarchs, and there were times when the Pope was just not having any of their bullshit.
Yeah, it depended very much on the Pope, and it depended a lot on like which kings were or emperors were, getting up to stuff at certain times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because like a figure like Charlemagne didn't come around very often, where the Pope was like, "This is my guy. I'm going all in on Charlemagne for the most part." And if you look at things like the Crusades, like it's clear that the Pope's influence was beyond just what the kings would allow him to do. The fact that the Pope could just call a crusade and thousands of peasants and knights would just immediately start marching east.
Yeah, and like how many times? 7 goddamn times?
Yeah, although only, it wasn't always as considerable as each.
I mean, if I remember, like the first one was like the best one, right?
The first one, probably the most successful.
And I don't think the second one was that bad, but I feel like once we get to the third, you know, that's when they start kind of going down as far as
The the third had its moments, and then the fourth is when they really start losing the plot because that's when they just raided Constantinople.
that's right. That's when like the Crusaders like sacked or raided like a Christian city, right?
Yeah, because they got stuck on an island because the Sicilians, I think it was, were supposed to make them a bunch of boats. But then not enough people showed up, I'm trying to remember the details. I'm not the best for this, but yeah, they were in like desperate. They're getting pretty desperate, and then they got to Constantinople, and the Byzantines were at this point pretty sick of the Crusades, uh, and they were like, well, we'll just take Constantinople then. And so then they did.
Uh,
And the Greeks, like my understanding is that they were kind of used to people just showing up and taking Constantinople. So when they got in, the Greeks were like, "All right, you're in charge now." And then the knights were like, "Okay, I guess we're raiding everything then." And then people were like, "Wait, no, what? That's not how this works."
you guys are just supposed to be in charge, not like take all our shit.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a digression.
Now back to the show. We got to stop getting distracted like that. We're now over at the Vale, and I hesitate to say this is the best scene in the episode, but I really liked it, where Damon is kind of negotiating with Lady Erin.
Yeah,
Like they both just have like some really good like a good word sparring. Like my favorite line is like, I should have sent babies to fight in her war, considering what dragon she let had defend my kingdom or my region.
yeah. Although I still kind of feel like her requesting a dragon to defend her area was asking way too much to begin with. So her being upset that she didn't get the biggest dragon is a little bit of a weak sticking point for her to have.
I mean, regardless of that, that was the deal that she came to with the blacks for her support.
Right.
So you can think it's, too much all you want, but that's on the blacks for like not that's on Jace for not negotiating better.
Right, for sure.
Dude should have just done what he did in the books and sleep with her. Then she'd be around his finger.
Is that real?
Well, that's a theory. It's not a theory like in the fandom, but remember there's like three guys giving their opinion, and Mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
the sexual deviant dwarf, is just like, oh yes, he fucked her.
Oh,
But he does that a lot. There's a lot of fucking like, honestly, Mushroom is like Westeros's version of like, a fanfic writer. Just everyone's having sex.
yeah. Makes sense. But yeah, I agree that this scene is pretty good. The fact that Damon's in it means it has a shot.
I mean, Matt Smith at this point is now the best actor in the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because now that Ricey fans, Otto Hightower, rest in peace, is no longer in the show, which I knew was coming. I knew he was going to die because I read the fucking books. But god damn it, I'm gonna miss him,
Yep. Yep, all we got to hold on to is Damon now.
dude. But after he gets all his gold, he hops on his dragon, and apparently no, not Melee's, Caraxes smells a little bit of something, and it happens to be Sheep Stealer. And so they fly off and run into Reyna and Sheep Stealer, and god damn, Reyna looks like a mess.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, living out in the mountains of the Vale, it'd be rough on anyone, but she looks older than her father now.
Yeah, she does look the age that you said she was uh like that theatrics is. That's what she looks now. Um Whereas before I felt like she kind of convincingly looked like a teenager.
Mhm. But we have like a little bit of a back and forth, and obviously I have a disdain for this scene just in the fact that Reyna isn't Nettles, and I'll never forgive
Mhm.
that. She kind of has the same effect as Allison. Just whenever she's on screen, I just hate it. But in the show continuity, I think it's like okay. I kind of buy why she isn't eager or willing to abandon Sheep Stealer or to like go to King's Landing and be confronted with Rhaenyra.
Mhm. Yeah. It is fair. And I appreciate that we actually see Damon, like, even though uh whose whose daughter is she supposed to be?
His
What's their relation?
that Daemon is her father.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. That was with the other chick that died in Dragonfire, right?
Yeah, I think it was Lena
Oh man,
Velaryon.
that was so long ago. Okay,
Yeah, that was like
that's good. That's
3-4 years ago.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, to see Damon like care for her as like a genuine father, that that was kind of nice. It's like a reminder that Damon's not just a psychopathic asshole. He has consistently cared about family throughout the show.
Yeah, and there's also the little bit of her kind of calling him out as far as like favoring Bela over her because she was actually able to tame a dragon, and Reyna like was never able to until Sheep Stealer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I still despise this scene, but in the context of the show, this is good, I would say.
Yeah.
hmm Though I feel bad for the poor shepherd that Damon looks at the end of this scene.
Oh, that's what the head was. I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, it took me a while. Like he presented the head, and I was just like, "Huh, whose head did he?" Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, he definitely took somebody's head, but I thought the shepherd was going to come up as like a witness of something at some point, but it makes way more sense that Damon would just kill him.
yeah, that's like uh, the second person Damon just randomly killed for like no real good reason.
Who's the first? His wife?
Well, no, remember in the first season, and I'm sure there were others, but like the one that sticks out to me is when they decided to fake Leonor's death, and so he just grabs some random servant and breaks his fucking neck and tosses the corpse into fire so that way they can't identify the body.
I don't remember that.
I mean, granted, it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
And it all mattered to nothing because apparently Leonor just died off screen in Essos. Probably from AIDS.
Is that real? They killed Leonor?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's confirmed, but a dragon has never bonded with someone while their rider is still alive. And
Oh,
and Adam bonded with Leonor's
his
dragon.
dragon.
So presumably he's dead.
Wow, that is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They really did Leonor dirty like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, with this next little scene, we're back over with Ormond and Darren, and he's reading a message in regards to what Kristen and Eamon's plans are, and he is upset about it. And Darren, knowing Ormond, pretty much warns like the letter guy to get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
And now, some people, like we all know what's about to happen. He's about to freak out. I was honestly somewhat expecting him to like somehow lift that massive ass table and chuck it. But I think that was just kind of like something I wanted to see rather than it being like reasonable. But instead,
Yeah.
he gets up, pulls his sword, and just starts whacking the table, which I gotta say, I understand the frustration in having this outburst, but it does make him look rather childish.
I think that's the point.
Mm-hmm. But hey, sometimes you just gotta let off a little bit of steam. And it's not his table, so who cares?
Yeah, right. It is his sword they probably just fucked up the edge of, but
Yeah, he can have it resharpened, reforged, or get a new one. Hmm. Oh, and fun little fact, it's not really that important, but do you see that guy, not Darren, but like the other guy who's kind of in the room with him?
yeah, that picks up his chair.
Yeah, that's actually that guy's sword on his back is actually, I believe, a Valerian steel sword.
He's got a sword on his back.
Maybe not in this scene, but he sometimes has a sword on his back.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have a sword on his back. So never mind. That was a pointless thing to point out. Anyways,
Why would that guy have a Valerian steel sword?
because his family
Is it?
has one.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, it's got one of those kind of like kind of edgy high school name though, because it's called Orphan Maker.
Man.
Like it kind of like it's not as good as like Widow's Wail, but Orphan Maker's pretty good.
Orphan Maker it's a name. It's a name to pick for a sword for sure.
It's an accurate description of what it does.
That's true.
Yeah, I think fun little fact though, in the books, Roxton, or I think that's Lord Roxton, or at least a knight of House Roxton, uses it to kill a guy in front of his wife, and his line was like, "It can make widows just as well as it makes orphans."
Hilarious. That's so funny.
I guess you just had to be there.
Maybe so.
But anyway, so not Gawain. Ormond is upset to hear that Aemond, and I think it's definitely more so Aemond, isn't going to be showing up to bolster their ranks with his dragon. Which,
Yeah,
big
which is
deal.
fair.
Big deal, because Tessarion isn't going to be able to do much against most of the enemy dragons, because Tessarion is about as dangerous as Jacaerys was on his dragon, who died in the
Hmm.
bullet.
Yeah.
But they must alter their plans, and I'm assuming we'll figure out what their altered plans are in the next episode. And now, back at King's Landing, we have Rhaenyra chatting with Orwyle, which isn't really that big? I honestly can't even remember what they were talking about. Hold on.
I think this is where they theorize. Is this not where they theorize about like? Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I don't remember
it's
exactly.
just talking about like Otto Hightower wrote a lot of letters to Ormond, but Ormond never responded.
Right.
Which I don't quite understand the importance of that detail. Like maybe it'll come up later, but even if it does, I don't think it's going to be that big.
Well, and the conclusion that he was ruling Old Town as a kingdom to itself doesn't necessarily seem to follow. It could be that there was some sort of agreed upon instruction that to like keep as little of a paper trail as possible, he wouldn't respond to Otto's messages, or uh, I don't know. Like, I'd be curious to hear what Otto wrote in those letters
But we don't quite get
before
that.
I draw any conclusions. Yeah.
Yeah. But not long with that, we actually have Ulf, who I know Ulf isn't the sharpest bowling ball in the alley, you know? He's not the most clever.
Yeah.
But
But this retarded.
who the fuck goes to the queen and be like, "Hey, I got some tavern buddies who would like tax exemptions and like castles and keeps and homes."
Did he ask for castles and keeps and homes?
I mean, let me double check
Oh, a
that.
small holding. He did.
Yeah, a holding can definitely be a castle. Well, it says a small holding outside of Rosby, and Rosby's a castle. So either way, even if it's not like fortresses and castles, it's you know land and titles and homes. Also, pardon this guy for various small crimes. Like, I don't know. That seems like a bit much, especially for like just tavern buddies.
Yeah, the show has definitely decided that Ulf is too stupid for words.
But when these, and and I think he was more upset rather than her refusing these, like, gifts or whatever, or these favors, that she said, like, oh, you're not allowed to go drink at the tavern anymore.
Yeah, which is like they're in a war still.
Yeah. So, like, it makes sense for. But this is kind of like showing a little bit of incompetence on Rhaenyra as well. There's a more tactful way to say this rather than you belong to me.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that the show has been pretty consistent in showing that her and Damon have zero respect for Ulf,
Yeah, but like, yeah, just like,
which is stupid. Like they should at least want to keep him in their good graces to the extent that he won't betray them in the future. But
I
I
mean,
guess they've never even pondered the possibility that he could betray them.
well, hey, like, let's wait till the show's over before we start like saying that this is sowing the seeds of an eventual betrayal because we don't know.
Right.
I mean,
If I if he doesn't betray them at this point, then all of these scenes are just horrible waste of time writing.
yeah,
So so those are the options. These scenes are either retarded because uh Rhaenyra and Daemon are treating a dragon rider as if he's some fucking child, and or they're retarded because why are we wasting time on Ulf hating them if he doesn't even betray them?
yeah. But the last little bit before Ulf takes his leave is like mentioning about how he saw like the graffiti or the paint about how they're calling her, the mother of bastards and all of that. Which I think is like, obviously his like kind of motivation is like she's taking away a bit of freedom with me. I'm gonna like say some shit that I know is like just going to upset her,
Hmm.
which, sends her to be angry. And like a part of me wonders, like, is it because like is she delusional enough to like think they're lies, or is she just like she knows they're lies, and because of that she's much more desperate to like squash it out.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It definitely feels like her having an overreaction.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one of my favorite quotes from Game of Thrones in the books, I don't think it makes it into the show, sadly, was Tyrion saying, when you cut out a man's tongue, you're not proving to the world that he's wrong. You're only showing that you fear what he says.
Hmm.
Which I love that quote for obvious reasons.
Yeah, although to be fair, uh, getting the graffiti cleaned up seems reasonable, but maybe violently beating everybody within, you know, 100 feet of the graffiti doesn't make much sense.
Right? Like, oh, you won't tell us who. Oh, we'll beat it out of you. Like, good God. Like, it's maybe even worse than like the very first time we see the gold cloaks work. But to be fair, this is on brand for them. We're introduced to them just like rapist, kill.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, all cops are bastards, so it tracks.
they're they're the gilded fist of the man, or the woman in this case. But now we're back over with Aegon and Larry's, and something that clicked with me a little bit too late. So, because of Larry's capturing Otto Hightower and having his underlings present that as like a present to the blacks, it seems very clear he's kind of like trying to play both sides a bit. But he's going like above and beyond for Aegon. Like, good God.
Wait, what do you mean he's trying to play both sides?
Well, remember, Larry's was the one who orchestrated Otto Hightower's imprisonment, and it was his underling who gives him over to the blacks to be executed when Rhaenyra takes the city.
Right, that's true.
But like
That
he,
is weird.
yeah, he's going like really far for like I can understand playing like both sides a little bit here and there, like keeping your options open. Honestly, kind of like how Maester Orwell is. Maester Orwell is like, you know, actually kind of playing both sides when the need arises. But Larry's is like, 90% green and like 10% black for no reason.
Yeah, you're right. The 10% black is a weird a weird thing to try to hold on to.
Like, I don't know much about betting, but like I feel like if you're going 90% on black and 10% on red, you might as well just, well, hold on, wait, no. 90% on green, pretend it's roulette, 10% on black. You might as well just put it all on green.
Well, I don't think can you bet on green in
Well,
roulette?
when I say green, green in this
You
metaphor
mean red?
is red. Yeah.
Well, you gotta be careful there because the zero is green in roulette.
Oh. Oh
So
yeah, it's that little green one that goes all round and round.
yeah, so you don't. That's the reason it's not perfect 50-50 odds. So
Gotcha.
that's how they get you.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But
Um,
yeah, definitely, you're not hedging your bet very much. Like if you get that 10% payout, you still lost a lot of money.
yeah. But anyways, Aegon is quite offended by the living situation, and I want to give credit where credit is due. I think the show writers showed restraint because when he told Aegon to get on your knees, I was 110% suspecting that Aegon was going to suck this man's dick.
Yeah, that would have been insane.
But thankfully, it's just kissing the feet. But nah, I was expecting, nah, we need a little bit more sexual assault. We've been doing it to all the girls. We need like one of the guys to have it happen to him. Kristen Cole doesn't count apparently.
There's yeah, that thought never even occurred to me. So that's just you. I think that's just something you gotta look into yourself and wrestle with.
To be fair, the franchise has a lot of moments where people talk about sucking cocks.
Yeah, but to actually
Like I don't,
show it
I don't think they were going to show it, but I think we
to
would have seen like a shot of Aegon's head just bobbing up and down.
yeah, that's showing
No,
it.
but we don't see a penis.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that they were gonna show him fucking getting a facial at the end, but like if they showed his head bobbing on a man's crotch, that would be the craziest scene in all of Game of Thrones.
Mhm. With that though, You
But
know,
so this is the other scene that like really made the like needless violence stick out to me. Like when this guy's threatening to kill him, it's like, really? Really? You're threatening to kill him right now? I just don't I don't buy it. Like his commander, people around are just like, yeah, just fucking kill that guy. That's cool.
mhm.
If his commander found out that he was just killing people, that would be something his commander's cool with. Like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's always one of those things where like these things did happen historically. It just wasn't prominent, and when you're having in this entertainment aspect, you want the more tension aspect of it. You know, if they had replaced it with just him, like, punishing Aegon in a different manner, it doesn't have that same tension as it would if he does threaten to kill him. And Game of Thrones being entertainment, it's always going to kind of want to be cranked up to the highest aspect. I mentioned this already, so I'm sounding like a broken record. But that's probably the main reason why Game of Thrones is just much more violent compared to our history.
Yeah, but I feel like Dunk and Egg, for example, or A Night of the Seven Kingdom, did a better job of handling sort of some of the violent aspects of medieval life, where it felt more restrained and believable. And that show was exclusively about a knight at a tourney, so you expect a lot more violence and stuff like that. But I don't know. Nah, I'll have to ponder this complaint more.
Well, I mean, it's unfair to compare this to A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, because A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is great. Fantastic, even.
I know.
So while we're at
That's
it, I mean,
why.
do we want to bring over, like, Lord of the Rings and start comparing House of the Dragon to that? Bring in a nuclear bomb to fight a coughing baby. Come on.
Yeah, but I think it's fair.
uh,
Especially when the coughing baby has access to, everything that the nuclear bomb has access to, and is just choosing to be a coughing baby instead.
uh, with that, though, we're back over in King's Landing now. And, we have a little bit with, Torrin Manderley and Missaria, all that. But the main thing is Damon showing up, plumping the head on the table and saying, hey, this is the guy who rode Sheep Stealer.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious how Rhaenyra is going to find out that he lied to her.
Uh, Probably someone's gonna see somebody riding sheep stealer would be my guess.
Most likely. And then Damon's going to be in shit. But
Yeah, and what do you think? Do you think Damon would? I mean, I get that he wants to protect his daughter. If there was going to be a motivation for doing something like this, that would be the one to go for, I think.
mhm.
But but to me, it feels like the more reasonable approach would be to just tell Rainier the truth and be like, "Hey, how are we gonna work through this?" I don't know.
I mean, probably. But I mean, to be fair, Rhaenyra keeps making terrible and terrible and terrible decisions, so I can completely buy them believing that she would just want her killed.
Yeah,
Like, I know that you are my adopted daughter slash cousin, who was also married to my son, so you're also my daughter-in-law as well. But die.
but die. But you gotta die. And I know that was an accident, and that really the dragon was the one who did it, and you were just kind of clinging to it for life, for dear life. But
And
yeah,
while you didn't help, it's definitely mostly like the Tyroshi pirates who are like 99 responsible for his death.
yeah, yeah. That's another aspect that isn't brought up at all. Is that the pirates are really the ones who killed him?
Like, don't get me wrong, Sheep Stealer obviously didn't help, but like,
Right.
it's entirely possible Jay still would have fucking died.
Yeah. I would say he almost certainly still would have died. The way that they were flying around, he was just waiting. It was a matter of time until they hit him with another one of those bolts.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but yeah, I mean, this scene, I mean, meh. I don't think much of it, though I will say there's like some aspect of Rhaenyra that I feel like it's like hinting at her like not trusting Damon in this situation when I don't know if she really has any like strong reason to doubt him.
Yeah, and what is the complaint? I wanted to look at the one who killed my son. How do you think Damon's gonna get a dragon rider off a dragon alive?
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
good fucking luck, especially Sheep Stealer, which is like we saw in the show. I don't know how exactly it is in the books, but Sheep Stealer is like comparable, if not like actually bigger than Caraxes.
yeah.
So yeah, good luck with that shit. But yeah, there's some sort of aspect of like there she already feels like something's wrong, something's not truthful here, and even Missaria seems to pick up on that shit because she says, "When what you have wrought comes falling down about her ears, she'll return to her senses," and asks, "Whose head is that?" It's like so even she feels like there's some bullshit here.
I think Damon says the when what you have wrought comes falling down line. Yeah, Damon says that line.
Oh, is it okay? I'm misremembering because I have it muted and I just see the subtitles and I can't see because it's too fucking
But
dark.
yeah, her response is that she somehow immediately knows that it's just a random head.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess maybe you could interpret it as she believes it's the Dragon Rider's head, but just wants to know who was the Dragon Rider. But no, it's almost certainly hinting at people are suspicious of the head for some reason, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Like what if if the writer actually was a green sympathizer, what possible motivation could Damon have for faking killing the writer?
mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I can believe that something crops up that, like, will start to make them question and be suspicious about it, obviously. But, like, for them to be, like, yeah, it's just obviously hinting at it's like hammering in the dishonesty of the situation to such an extent where it's just like, we, the audience, know, but it doesn't make sense for the characters to really be questioning it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We also get the next scene with Alicent and Rhaenyra,
And
and
I have no clue what the fuck this scene is. This scene confused the hell out of me.
So I mean, you have Rhaenyra giving presumably Otto Hightower's ring over and telling her that his body is sent off to Old Town,
Uh-huh.
which is what she wanted, what she asked for.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's straightforward enough. And then I actually thought it was kind of nice that she doesn't ask Alicent for anything in this scene. She just gives her the ring, says she's done her favor, and then leaves.
Mm-hmm. But I'm guessing you're
Uh,
kind of confused by
oh,
the
and she says Viserys would have wished it, so I think it's Viserys' ring.
maybe. I mean, maybe Viserys would have wished that Otto's Hightower had gone to Alicent.
But either way, then the rest of the scene is what confuses me. What's going on here?
So, DJ, I have it on good assumption, thanks to the books, that Helena is pregnant.
Okay, so they're talking about like how big her tits are.
I believe they're hinting more at the tummy.
Uh, who who could have gotten her knocked?
Well, presumably it was Aegon, and she's only kind of now showing signs of
Oh,
pregnancy.
right.
God,
Okay.
I gotta say though, like, there's a part of me that finds this scene kind of awkward because while I was online, I was just like kind of scrolling around, and I found a picture of the two actresses taking like pictures together, and it's like they both like lift up their skirts and like kiss their asses, and it's
What?
yeah, like it's and now because of that, whenever I'm like seeing them on it, I'm just like mother and child. It's just it's just ridiculous.
Wait, wait, what? They lift up they're kissing each other. So the actresses in real life have pictures where they're kissing each other's ass?
Yeah, or something along those lines. Once, let me see if I can find it.
Dude, what have we let society come to?
What's Helena's actress? Via Saban.
But yeah, I will say I was too thick-headed to figure out the pregnancy thing. Never even occurred to me for some reason.
Yeah, just kind of like so that's what they're kind of hinting at. Okay, so I might have exaggerated the picture a little bit. I think only one of them is kissing their ass.
Well, it would be hard to take a picture of two people kissing both asses at the same time.
But yeah, I'm sending you the image now.
Yeah, what? Why? It's weird. It's weird stuff, dude.
Don't worry, this is a sign of society going the right direction.
Right? Where is this? Is this in a photo booth? What is this?
Probably.
Whatever. Um, so yeah, Helena's knocked. Good to know. And then we are. Oh,
This is
Oh yeah,
the
this is
gold
where we
cloaks
see the
just
dragon.
going around beating people up.
No, no, no. This is unless yeah, this is dragon and flying over the city.
Oh, you're right. I think I accidentally skipped that because it's really fucking fast. So wait. I just realized, is that Vagar? Yeah, that's Vagar. No. I'm sorry, that's Vermithor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw the like kind of saggy neck thing, and I'm like, oh,
it
Vagar.
does.
She's got the
It
saggy
does
neckline.
have a kind of saggy neck, but then we see
Yeah, Hugh Land.
uh Hugh land.
Hmm. Then we see the gold cloaks like just fucking everyone up. You think they have like quotas like, hey, listen, I need you to assault 10 small folk today, all right? No less.
No less. You bring me 10 fucking fingers to prove that you assaulted 10 people today.
Hmm. And don't go thinking you can bring all 10 fingers from one person. I'm going to check.
Yeah, I want them all to be right pointers.
So, yeah, they're doing a terrible job at their job. And then we have Darren with Tessarion, kind of relaxing. And now I feel like this scene started off fairly well
No,
because. No?
wrong. It couldn't have started well because why the fuck is this dragon here?
Well, you can't keep a dragon inside a sept?
No, you can't keep a dragon in the possession of an enemy army. Why would Damon have let them keep the dragon?
Well, presumably, we talked about this before. Presumably, when Daemon left, he trusted some dragon keepers to escort Tessarion. And on their way to King's Landing, they were jumped and Tessarion was taken back by the High Towers. So we were already critical about Daemon not escorting Daeron on the dragon. Because obviously, if he did that, it would ruin the reveal that it was a fake, and then they would go back and kill them all.
Oh, and so then that's why one of the dragon people is the one who ends up telling that they've taken the town.
Yes.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's so that yeah, that's just yeah, because I don't know. I guess at the end of last episode, I was assuming they had the dragon in their possession. I didn't assume they just let it be captured. That's wow.
No. But yeah, so with that
Well,
sorted
and as
out,
soon as I guess they find out the kid's a fake right after that. But like
a
I
couple of
don't
days after.
so yeah, kids hanging out with a dragon. Yeah, and I mean, I guess if you're storing a dragon anywhere, it would be here. I don't know.
Though I guess a part of me wonders, like, how the fuck did it get in there?
Yeah, they got big doors, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I mean, granted, Sarion isn't the biggest dragon, but, you know, it's not small.
No, not small.
Yeah. But anyways, we have a little bit of Ormond Hightower, and this is probably where we get a bit, like, kind of really into him. We get a little bit of his, like, racism and zealotry. And
Hmm.
I kind of like it because we were talking back and forth about the morality of medieval people at the time, And, they were not they weren't so gung ho about murdering and raping and whatnot as much as popular media depicts it. But something they definitely were was they were more bigoted and they were more zealous. And
Mm.
I think like that's a thing that a lot of modern fantasy, not just Game of Thrones, but fantasy in general, doesn't do is like portraying that religious fervor. I mean, the closest you ever get to it is like paladins and clerics, but they're still like, by historical standards, I think like average.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about the Crusades earlier, like the Pope said, "Hey, there's some fucking crazy guys in the East. We need to go fuck up." And literally, thousands of peasants just marched straight to their death for no reason, just on that. So,
see, I
yeah,
like
people,
I like having the more zealotous aspect, and I like the racism towards the Valerians because this was actually like something that's kind of hinted at that was kind of added with A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Remember where the Fossaway boy was like, they're incestuous aliens, dunk.
yeah,
So like I kind of like that they're bringing in like a bit of a racism towards the Valerians because and specifically the Targaryens because like it makes sense. You know,
yeah,
what group of people wouldn't feel like, "Oh, that's bullshit. These fucking twinky pale motherfuckers get to take over everything just cuz they got dragons? That's cheating."
yeah, and everybody hates the French. I mean, the Targaryens, and so it all makes perfect sense.
So yeah, so like I like that. I kind of wish we had a bit more of that because this is, I feel like, some of the grim grittiness of you know the medieval times that I think isn't often depicted as often as it should be.
Yeah,
And,
I would agree with that.
and so yeah, I really like it. And it's a little sad to see that the thing is, I feel like we're supposed to feel like kind of sad for Darren because he's kind of being emotionally abused by Ormond by like saying like there's a part of you that's just repulsive.
Hmm.
And so, but the issue is I don't care about Darren. Like we've seen him before, but this is his first actual episode.
Yeah, for sure. This is the first episode he's been a character in. And then, I mean, the other aspect of this is that we have to taint the whole thing with them killing an innocent man for no reason.
Yeah, it's just there can't really be any good people on the green side, especially if
Yeah.
it's a dude. The only decent human being on the green side is like, okay, there's two. Helena, who's only good because she's retarded, and I would say Gawain. I think those are really the only characters you can say are like kind of morally okay.
Who's
Every
Gawain? Oh, Gawain's the guy with Cole.
Yeah, Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
Like he's the
Yeah.
only one who seems like to have any sort of like moral standards. Everyone else on the greens is repulsive, and I would even put him above Helena because at least I would assume Gawain would be sad if his child died.
Yeah. Well, and do you think the show knows that Alicent's a bad person?
I don't think they know it, but she is objectively the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, so but from the show writer's perspectives, I guess Alicent is also
And
one of a
she's
good
not even
person.
green. She's black. She's black in this show. She has done nothing but harm the greens and support the blacks.
It's very true. It's very true.
So yeah, all the greens are just scum except for Gawain.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yeah, okay, so you have convinced me that this episode probably is indeed worse than the previous episode, which is crazy because the previous episode was focused entirely on Rhaenyra.
Yeah. It is crazy. It's crazy that this episode managed to be so bad.
Ah, why'd you do this? I kind of enjoyed my ignorance.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my gripes were already there, but just speaking about them out loud, they just kept
That's
coming and coming and
that's how
coming.
these episodes seem to go, you know? Like I go into an episode being like, yeah, I kind of didn't like it, and then by the end I'm like, God damn it, this was filth.
Ah, jeez. Yeah, you have convinced me. Definitely not as bad as the first two, but worse than the previous episode.
Yeah.
Or I
I'd
mean,
say
I,
that's
I guess maybe Golic can be better because at least it had the entertaining battle at sea.
hmm
Jangle the keys.
yeah.
But I think that's it because that's the last scene. We see Darren just kill the guy, and then Tessarion torches the fucker.
And roll credits.
Yeah. Is there any kind of like last minute comments you want to make, or?
I don't think so. I
All
think
right.
I've said all I have to say.
All right. I mean, if you want to say anything else, like sexist or racist, to get my YouTube channel taken down, go right ahead.
Oh well, if you're gonna invite me to, then
It was great having you, DJ fella. To everyone watching, thank you very much for making it to the end. I'm very proud of this episode because the fucking recording didn't stop halfway through like previous times. Yeah, with that squared away, as always, thank you, DJ fella. And to everyone who made it this far, don't forget to subscribe so that way you'll be notified about the next episodes as we cover the videos step by step. And until then, be safe. And I hope you all have a wonderful night.